Okay, I want to know if this is working. Um, it's possible that it's not. I just want to make sure. Let me know, folks. Yes, people can see and hear me. That doesn't happen every day with me. Um, Everything seems to be working fine. All right. Well, let's get started right away. I just tweeted that we're live, so I am happy to welcome you early folks to the Jai Wednesday streams. And there's quite a bit to go through in terms of like what the stream is about. So it's not even that much, but let's just go through it, and then we will actually do a little bit of uh, what you want to see, which is I mean I think you want to see Jai code, but we'll get there. I promise. So let's see how I can enable this presentation, and let me make sure that it looks okay. All right, so like I said, welcome. Let's talk about what the Jai Wednesday streams are about. And really, it's just going to be like having casual programming streams. And part of the presumption here is that the people who are watching this do already have some background knowledge with, C, C++, D, Rust, Go, potentially. So like languages of that nature, procedural languages, statically typed, things that can compile down to machine code. This stream is for you. It's for you to see what this language, Jai, we can pronounce it that way for now, is about. It's a language that is under active development by Jonathan Blow and his team, right? So I'm not the only one working for John on this. Before me was Joshua Wilsman, and maybe I'll put up his Twitter later. And as he's like the LLVM and backend guru, he's really good at the backend end of things. And porting as well. So he's really good at making sure the compiler works on Linux, that the compiler works on Mac, not just on Windows, because we want to release the language for all those three platforms, right? And then somebody else who's on the team is more recently Ignacio Castaño. And Ignacio, most of you potentially know who he is if you've played The Witness, which is Jonathan Blow's latest game that was released in 2016. So he's a senior graphics programmer, but who has a very strong interest in programming languages. So he's been like super helpful on this. And then me, I used to work for NASA. That's where I spent my formative years, my early years as an engineer, as just working for Kennedy Space Center. And now I joined Tekla to work on Jai, specifically the surrounding infrastructure, right? So we're talking testing, formal compiler tests. We're talking writing build servers, along with Josh. Then technical documentation, finding bugs, fixing some of those bugs, creating the website for the language, and making sure the workflow, basically that the workflow, happens in a way that feels more formal, so that the process of making the compiler feels more robust and more reliable. So I do all of that. But also, I work on making games and programs in the language. Again, just to keep trying to break the language to make sure that we can fix all of those bugs, right? So yeah, you can see there that the next bullet point is streaming projects. That's the point of this stream. So for this whole year, all we've done is make sure the compiler is super robust. And there's still work to do, but John has gotten it very far along. And we're at a point where we want to start, showing people how Jai works, outside of the Sokoban game project. So this stream is an opportunity to show you guys how the language works in other contexts, in other programs, in other games. And there's also a double purpose for that. because I want to make these things for the beta testers, right? So we're getting close for the closed beta, and I want to make sure that these people who are going to become the beta testers can have games, can have programs that are not as complex as Sokoban, but definitely has some meat to them for them to study the language in a real world, scenario, basically. And also, if you have questions, I'm going to try and answer them. Sometimes I can't answer questions because it has to be John, but if I can, I will. All right, what's next? Another thing I want to do as I do these streams is to find out other bugs. So, or any ideas on how to make the language, have less errors, fewer errors, and if there are error messages, I want to make sure those are improved or document those for John, and just finding bugs and stuff. It's part of what you need to do. All right. Where am I? Aha. So what it's not about. So this stream is not about internal programming. And by internal, I really mean, how Jonathan Blow goes into the compiler, into the internals, and starts fixing bugs or adding new features to the language. You're not going to see that here. And if you do see something from the compiler internals, it'll be very rare. I want to focus on showing people how the language works, as if I was a regular C++ or C programmer, just using Jai for my day-to-day, programming. That's the point of this stream. So like I said, yeah, Sokoban project will not show up. That's John's thing, not mine. And then, oh boy. Stream is casual, but I've been known to stream before and have like a lot of fun. And I want to have fun with you guys for sure, but we want to make sure that the tone of the stream still feels rather professional because I'm representing the company. I want to make sure that I don't go overboard, but we will still have fun. I'm just letting you know that it won't be 100% Abner craziness, right? So, a little bit. Okay, how does the schedule look? So let's see. It will be most Wednesdays, and it's not going to be 100% all Wednesdays, right? Because people have personal lives, so I have a personal life. Things can come in the way. Sometimes I need a break. So my good friend Alan Webster does his 4Coder Friday streams, and I really like those because he just streams every Friday. But whenever he doesn't feel up for it or he has other business to do, he'll just say, I'll see you next time, and he'll tweet that out. So I want to do the same thing, and I think this time is a good time. So 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is pretty good. But if you want to know the actual time, just follow me on Twitter. And then eventually, if the point of this stream is to show people how to use Jai in your day-to-day work, then eventually, people will have access to Jai, open beta or when it's released. So then it won't make sense for me to do these streams, in my opinion. Maybe I'll do other streams that still have to do with Jai, maybe not. So just letting you know. Haha, okay, so now we can start with actual, showing you actual code. So let's do that. How do I do this? How do I exit this presentation? Like that, just like that. Thank you for answering that, Abner. You're welcome, me. You're very welcome. Okay, let me make sure you guys can still see this little window. Is the font good? Good enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you the first project that I want to stream, right? The project is Blob Man, and I think it's best to just show you. It's mine. I've been programming it from scratch. From scratch means just using the Jai language, using the system modules, and using OpenGL. And part of this dream might be to switch from OpenGL to something else, because my coworker Josh has had major issues with OpenGL and Mojave, the latest version of macOS. I'm not sure I want to stay with OpenGL forever, but for now it's OpenGL. And this is fun. This is going to be fun because I'm not a game programmer, really. Like, I'm not a game dev. I've always been doing like very low level, system level work. So this will be a great learning experience with you guys. Okay, so I compiled it. Let's run it. I think it's on the other window, like this. The stream will make this seem slower than it is. Uh-oh, I don't want you seeing the debug screen just yet. So let's just compile it regularly. Okay. Okay. So here it is. This is Blobman. It's a very original game. It has never been attempted before. Or I guess more honestly, this is me just getting inspired. Just like any other game dev usually gets inspired at first with just making a clone, right? So this is my clone. Let's pause it there. That was intentional. All right. So let's run it again. This time, the first thing I want you to see. Now we're programming, okay? Now we're just showing code and doing this very informally, okay? No more formalities. Okay, so what you need to know is that I'm calling this file called first.jai. That is the first file to compile, surprisingly enough. And then I'm passing in a debug flag. Now, this is not a compiler argument, right? It's my argument. And because it's my argument, I'm putting it after these two dashes, which all it means is after these two dashes, whatever I put in is a user argument that will be detected and handled at compile time, right? And what I'm saying is, hey, first.jai, that's the compile time program, right? It runs at compile time, not at runtime. It'll say, hey, I want you to compile the debug version of Blobman. That's it. And then we're gonna run it. Okay, so let me show you what I have so far, okay? There's definitely a few things we wanna do here, but let me just show you what I have, okay? So this is the debug portion of the game. As you can see, I'm not a horrible game developer. I can at least do the basics, right? So you can, pause and play the game. That's all good. You're gonna see some arrows, right? That is the Ghost AI working its magic, right? So the arrows will tell you the direction in which the Ghost will go a tile later, right? And so that's what you're saying. I can also grab the Ghost, and as long as there's not a bug, I should be able to drag and drop it somewhere. There it is, right? So that's good. I can make them go a lot slower, so let's just do that. You see? Of course, my Blobman is still going fast, although it might seem slow on the stream, but I can make it go faster, right? Or way slower. There it is. I don't think you can see the cursor. I think my mouse is not showing up on the stream, but I'm moving things around over here on the very left, all the sliders. Okay, I can make the ghost go away. They're all gone, and now Blobman is on his own. Whee! Right? Let's make the ghost come back, maybe one of them. I can eat the pellet. And now it's scared, right? So it's gonna run away from me, but I can eat it. Or maybe not, maybe I won't eat it. See the animation showing that it was gonna die. So cool. Now, let's open up a Visual Studio. I guess we don't need to do that right now. Let's cancel this. Ugh, issues. So this is one of the bugs that we have to figure out in the stream. Give me a sec. Let's see. Let's kill you off. And it's not the compiler bug. This is funny. I have to figure out whether it's a compiler bug or my bug. It's definitely my bug because I already know what this bug is, right? Really, Windows 10? Must you do that? Okay. Well, it's great that the stream gets to see my bug crash everything and I can be embarrassed. There it is. I found it. Assuming I can kill it. You're not responding, Blobman. Okay. Hold on. Let me figure out what to do here. That's good enough. Okay. Let's show you the game again. Blobman. Okay. Boom. Okay, so one of the bugs is with the ghost AI. So if I let the game run long enough, we're gonna start making the to-do list. So this stream will be creating our to-do list together. Once we have that to-do list, we'll start working on each item, right? Since it's Thanksgiving week, I don't think I can stay here for very long. So I think we're only gonna have time to make the to-do list, discuss what's wrong with the game, and then next week we'll program fixes and add new stuff to it. Okay. So there's a ghost AI bug because eventually I just get an assert from the program. Hold on, let me run away. Not bad so far, not bad. I can die, of course. Boom, dead. Well, if you're not gonna crash, I'm just gonna play around. Boom. Goodbye. Oh, there it is. So one of the bugs is in this line. Let me show you what that is. Let me see. We can abort. Please don't crash. Excellent. All right. Da-da-da. Oh no, I forgot the line number. Somewhere around here. But I'm sure it was on the Ghost AI somewhere around here. Let's just open up, hold on, where am I? Let's open up main.jai and we're gonna make our to-do list together. Okay, what's the first item? We're gonna do a few items here. And I don't know why I'm not repeating the same thing more easily. There you go. Sweet. Nice. So the first to-do item is going to be fixing the Ghost AI bug, right? So Ghost AI bug. If the game if the game runs long enough, an assert will fire, right? Oh, somebody found the actual line of code that's asserting. Thank you, James Widman. Thank you so much. Line 285. It is on actors, right? This one. Okay. Yep. So this code is the Ghost AI algorithm. This is cool. There might be people here who haven't seen the Jai language before. I think next stream I'll do the first few minutes, just explain the basics of the language. Just today I want to show you the project we're going to be focusing on for the next streams to come, okay? Next stream I can give a quick introduction to the language. But if you're familiar, like I said, with C and C++, you might be already understanding a lot of it. There's a bunch of new stuff though, like using, or the fact that this function or procedure is being defined inside this other procedure. Some compilers in C++ or C allow that. I think the GNU C compiler has an option for locally scoped functions, but not everybody does that. Yeah. And a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Anyway, so yeah, 285, that is definitely candidate tiles. You know, each ghost tries to detect which are the possible tiles that it can go to, and then it'll throw a vector, a 2D vector, onto the different tiles and see which distance is the shortest, usually, and then it'll go in that direction. So something about, I think, throwing the vector to measure the distance between tiles and choose what the candidate tiles is giving me an extra tile that shouldn't be in the candidate list. And that's why this assert is firing off. So I gotta see why one of the ghosts is doing that. So J. Scott, Abner, what modules are you depending on? Just the base Jai stdlib? Yes. So I'm only using the standard library, and that's it. I'm using my own, so you can see my own modules over here, right there. But yeah, just using what the language provides, and it provides bindings to OpenGL. And I wouldn't, yeah, you can call them bindings. They're bindings, right? Because you're hooking into a DLL. So yeah, we write bindings for those. STB image is part of the system modules at the moment. Yes, yes, yes. Is universal function call syntax common to Jai? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that like when you, let me see. Let's do it here. Wait, universal function syntax. Does that mean that if you have a struct that defines a method, we don't have methods here, but we have functions that can live inside structs, then the way we call them is simplified? Like I don't remember. I think D does something like that, but explain to me what that is, because I don't remember. Okay, so back to the to-do list. Ghost AI bug. And thanks to James Whitman, we have some more information, right? So, notes. Basically, one of the ghosts seems to be adding an extra candidate tile to its prediction algorithm. And we don't allow that. There you go. So the next to-do item, right, is going to be, let me show you. Let's run the game. Let's pause. So John actually showed this game in one of his streams some time ago this year, and it didn't have all this fancy debug stuff, but it did have the level. And he said that there was basically a copyright violation here. I mean, not technically. Like this is our own art, or at the very least, I got some public domain assets. I'm almost sure. Yeah, yeah. So you know, but still, the actual level layout is exactly like some specific game from the 1980s layout, right? So we really want to change the theme of this game. I don't want people playing Blobman, actually. I want people playing some original theme that has this gameplay, right? I believe Game Maker, for example, I may be wrong, but I think Game Maker has an Indiana Jones style, Pac-Man clone. So Indiana Jones being followed by scorpions instead of ghosts, right? One of my coworkers told me maybe we could have a thief running from the cops, and we have to figure out, what the items would be. So instead of a power pellet, what does the thief grab that will scare the cops? I mean, I have no idea. So you gotta consider all those things. So I'm gonna put that on the list, right? Blobman theme, and more importantly, besides the theme, like the actual level layout should be updated. Okay, so that's good. Another awesome thing is that Jai allows you, and I'm going to explain this next week, hopefully. Jai allows you to take any code that you have, let's say in this program, and decide to run it at compile time. In other words, you could, if you want, run Blobman at compile time instead of actually compiling it, waiting for the executable, and then running the game then. Now, I don't want to use it to run Blobman at compile time because, a lot of viewers here who have seen Jonathan Blow's demos knows how this goes. But I have a lot of arrays. So let me show you one of the functions. I'm going to make the font a little bigger for you guys. Let's make it 14. There we go. Actually, nice. I have it to do already. This game generates a lot of arrays, right? An array for the level layout, an array for how to render stuff. Like you have indices into OpenGL memory to render the tiles on the GPU. So you have a lot of arrays being generated. And why should all these users who are going to play the game have to run functions that will load a level file, a text file or something, generate an array, and then have the game use that to render the game or something? Like, why does that have to happen? Every time that the user plays the game, they have to run a function internally that loads the level file, that parses everything, gets the array, and then starts the game. And if you multiply that by, let's say, 10,000 people, then that's a lot of waste that I'm giving them, and it's not fair, right? So I should pay that cost. So in other words, when I'm compiling Blobman, it's okay if arrays get generated then, and then when the game runs, the arrays are already created. And you can do that at compile time, right? So for example, you can add #run there, and just with this directive, the map gets generated when I'm compiling, and then it's all statically allocated in memory. So we really want to do that stuff. I think grid from map depends on Atmos indices from, so I gotta be careful. I need to run there too. So all that stuff. So I'm gonna add a to-do. Generate all arrays at compile time, never at runtime. Save users time. There we go. Okay, let's look at the comments before we continue to the other to-do items. Wouldn't that make the compile time slower though? Sure, it could. So I could add some extra compile time arguments. So when I compile the program, I can say, okay, debug. Then at debug, I will, sorry, not debug. My brain is, okay. It's the string, man. Release, right? So I can say only at release should the code paths include generating stuff at compile time. If I'm in debug, then go through the code paths that are piggy. In other words, don't run anything at compile time. Just do all the loading of files, all the parsing of files, all the generation of arrays at runtime, so I can actually have faster compile times. But I can flip it around when I say release, and you're good to go. It's the wine. You guys are awful. Guys and gals, Azure Magic. And also the executable higher in size. Yeah, you would get a higher, bigger size executable, but you have the option, right? And how cool is it that, again, grid from map. How cool is it that I can just do that and it runs at compile time, right? I wouldn't call that metaprogramming. I know like even my boss calls it metaprogramming, and it's a good term, but I personally I really enjoy just thinking about my code shifting between timelines, shifting between compile time and shifting between runtime. But it's the same code. It's the same thing, right? And so that's pretty awesome. But you have options, is what I'm trying to say. And now when you have all these options, like you guys are saying, careful with compiler executable size, sorry, careful with slower compile times, absolutely. And you have to take precautions. Yep. Okay. I don't think we need that many to-do lists. So this game is pretty solid already. It's just, but we definitely have a Ghost AI bug. We want to change the Blobman theme to be, I have no idea what, cops chasing a robber, whatever. Change the level layout, right? Generate all arrays at compile time. Okay, I know some of you on the chat are like way better game developers than I am. So I would like to know what you think I should have for debug visualization, right? So I was inspired by Handmade Hero, as many people are, to have debug visualization. But I guess it's very basic. If you think I should have other stuff, let me know. Let me know now while I drink some more of this. Somebody's asking, is first.jai like an interpreted script that invokes a compiler? Interesting. I think I can show you. Yeah, I can show you. Give me just 1 second. I'll show you how it works. Da -da 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 -da. I'm doing magic stuff on the other monitor. Magic stuff. Ultima in third. Careful with alcohol. This is a protein shake. It is not chocolate wine. There we go. I'm looking for the website, which I'm not going to show until I get John's permission to preview stuff. But it has, I wrote a section, like the very bare bones first.jai example, So I want to show you that. Okay. Oh, what happened here? Okay. And then I'm going to run a new console. This is live, folks, live. And yeah, okay. So let's make a program, right? Let's call it Hello Sailor. And let's once again set the GUI font to something bigger. What? There we go. Okay. So this is a regular program, okay? Just a typical Jai program. And I'm going to print Hello Sailor because all languages will, of course, use Hello Sailor as the first introductory program. So let's compile that. If I find my console, right? Very fast, a little bit slow because of all the printing and debug stuff we do. There we go. Okay. Now, this program is very simple. So you don't want to do anything more than that. You just literally call Jai. You don't call Jai first.jai, or what I have on the website to show people is Jai setup.jai. Right? You don't need that. You can just pass in hello sailor because it's such a simple program, right? Now, a key idea though is that Jai is a build system. In other words, your compiler is the build system. You don't go off searching for make. You don't go off searching for all these other build systems that they have their reasons for existing, but the compiler itself knows how to build the program, and you do it in the language. So you use the language to write how you build the program, and that's it. So that's why when I say first.jai, this is John's convention, is the first file that you pass in, but let me show you how it works. Da, 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 da. You know what? I really should just do it on the right side, or here. There we go. Da, 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 da. Okay. So now we're gonna import a compiler, which we need. I'm gonna import. Again, I won't go into specifics because we're just programming regularly. This is not a presentation at the moment. Okay. Actually, so now, if I pass Jai first.jai, right? Let's do a print. I'm running at compile time. And this is running at compile time because I'm using the run directive to say, hey, execute build at compile time, okay? Now look, I'm running at compile time. However, the compiler says, hey, we couldn't find main. Where the heck is main, man? Yeah. So that's bad. Maybe it's okay. Like maybe you don't care about this because you're just running stuff at compile time, and then you let the compiler complain at the end. Like there's no harm done. But why don't I turn this function into a script? In other words, I tell the compiler, hey, this program is not going to have a main, and you're not going to produce an executable. Just execute all this code inside build, and that's it. Stop. So that's treating this file as if it were a build script. And how do you do that? Well, you get the build options. Get build options, right? And now I have access to a build options struct that I can update the values of, right? So we can say, first thing that I care about is that I don't want this file to produce an executable, right? And then we update those options. And we'll make a comment for people who are coming in. They know what we're doing. Setup Jai itself will not produce any binary. There you go. Good. Right? And now create a new workspace to compile main.jai. Okay, so with this first.jai, now that I told the compiler, hey, when I feed you this file, don't complain about main not being there. I'm gonna write some code now, and you're gonna do whatever it is that you do, run the code, and you're done, right? Now the code that I'm gonna write is to create a workspace, right? And a workspace is a space in which the compiler can do work. In other words, I can control the compiler to do work whenever I want it to through this mechanism, right? So I'm going to do a quick check that if there's no workspace, then exit. Maybe I should tell people. Uh-oh. Right? Yeah. If I'm gonna do that, I might as well be not as backfired on me. I was trying to be quick. Okay. Good to go. Now, I have a workspace, and this is the thing. I can update my build options, and build options can do a lot for you. So, how do I explain this? With build options, you can tell the compiler how to produce the executable, whether it's a binary file, regular executable, or a library file. You can specify optimization levels. You can choose a target OS. So you can say, I don't want to target this program to compile for Windows. I want it to compile for Mac. I want it to compile for Linux. So you can use these build options to say that you want to choose a different target. You can choose a different backend. So you can say, I want LLVM, or I want x64, or whatever else we provide, right? Right now we have x64 and LLVM. We have 32-bit as well. I don't use that very often. You can disable array bounds checking, so it can be a little faster. And you can choose where to store your output, right? So all of these things are done by make file systems, or build systems. We can do it right here. So just to keep it simple though, I'm only gonna choose a different backend, right? Hold on. Update build options struct to say we want an executable with LLVM. Store hello sailor inside a bin folder, right? There we go. Let me make sure that the program is compiling so far. It is. Oh, and by the way, I'm running at compile time, and it's no longer complaining that there's no main. And in fact, the workspace here already ran, but nothing happened because I haven't done anything with it. Okay, so build options dot output type. Now it's going to be just a regular executable, right? Then the backend is going to be LLVM. Then, sorry, I'm a little slow. You get a little slow on streams. Executable name. Let's actually give it. Who was the person who asked about this? Let's give the program the name of the user. Da, 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 da. Lots of comments. Jeez. Ah, there we go. I found the person. There. Cool. Cool. And then the one thing we're going to do is specify the output folder, which will be the bin folder. Okay? Sorry, output path. And we should probably make a directory if it doesn't exist. If it does not exist. It's a very Jonathan Blowian function. There we go. Cool. So we got all the build options. So now we're going to pass those options to the new workspace. We just say set build options like earlier, but this time we specify the workspace. So it's no longer first.jai that's getting these options, it's main.jai, right? Actually, we're going to compile main.jai now. The function is called add build file. Main.jai. Oh, sorry. It's hello sailor.jai to the workspace. And that's it. Wasn't that much. It's just that I talk a lot. So let's review. First.jai is the first file that I pass to the compiler. It doesn't have to be called first.jai. It can be called setup.jai. It can be called whatever you want. Just make sure people understand it's basically the build script, right? What matters is that you tell the compiler that this particular file is not gonna produce an executable. It's just gonna run, regular code at compile time. And then a workspace is the place where you can have the compiler compile other code, compile other libraries from first.jai, right? From this script. And I just showed you what I did. I updated the build options and I set them to the workspace. I pass in hello.jai, and after this line, after this, build will finish, and the compiler fires off a thread, and it will compile hello.jai according to my options. After it compiles it with LLVM, it'll call it has in Judy, and then it will store it inside the bin folder, and we're good to go. So if I've been useful, that is what's going to happen. Oh boy. Executable name is not. Oh, I think it's output executable name. There you go. Try it again. Boom. So now there should be a bin folder, and there is, and it should be called a bunch of stuff. Oops, there's a bunch of other files. I guess the bin folder already existed, but here it is. Boom, right? And we can call it hello. Let's make it call Hello Judy, right? Hello Judy. And maybe we can choose a different folder. So let's call it Judy folder. Judy fodder. Judy fodder. It's almost been an hour, guys. Gotta leave soon. Let's try it again. Boom. Judy folder, there it is. And then it even has a PDB file that we provide. So you can debug a Jai executable with Visual Studio already. Hello, Judy. That was a long answer to your question. Hope you liked it. Alrighty. Let's go back to Blobman. Yeah. Did we have it over here? Oh, it's already running. Oh, gosh. There's the bug, I guess. Let's look at the comments from people. Let's look at the comments. So the language name is still temporary, so it's not guaranteed that it will be that name. It could be not. And he doesn't even tell his employees what it stands for, what it is. So you're the wrong person to ask this question. Any chance to see a public release this year? No. There's going to be a closed beta soon, and the website may or may not be released this year. It's done. It just needs to be reviewed by the team a little more, and then it's up to John when to release it. Now, don't go badgering him on my account. I mean, it needs to be reviewed by the team, and he needs to make edits, right? But it's done from my part, and so the website will be released very soon, as far as I can tell. And then after that will be, I think, some more demos by John, and then the closed beta, and then we'll go from there, right? So we're getting there. Any other questions? I'm just gonna take Q&A, but let me run the game one last time for those who didn't know what's going on. This is the project we're gonna focus on next week onward. It's a completed Pac-Man game, more or less. The first level, at least, is fully complete. But there's a ghost AI bug that I have to fix. And then there's probably some more debug stuff I want to do here. We want to change the theme completely so it looks different. So it's not like an unfortunate ripoff or anything. Yeah. So I want to make sure this is finished. So the beta testers can have this game and they can study the language in a real, context. So let's make sure the to-do list is to-do list. Where are you? And there you are. Add new features to the debug visualization code. And I know somebody in the chat mentioned like stuff to add to the debug, but if you can post it again, I appreciate that. Is this the text editor with the caret? Good times, good times. Any other comments? Someone else asked this too, but what exactly is a workspace and how many can you create? It seems you can have several workspaces, but only one set of build options. Yeah, but you can create multiple workspaces for sure, and you can pass separate build options and separate copies of the build option struct to each workspace, right? Now it's up to you to make sure you don't have, like, if your data segment has global shared data structures and you're having these workspaces touch those at compile time, may God be with you. But yes, you can have multiple workspaces, you can have copies of build options, change those build options, create an array of them, who cares? Frame for frame footprints, always useful for debugging. Ooh. Yeah, I had that, I was thinking of that, but cool. Is the debug UI sliders, oh, so Guitar Freak is asking about these sliders. So again, you can't see the mouse. I'm sorry about that, I'll fix it next time. But you can see the sliders on the left, they're gonna be moving in just a second. You can see that I'm making the ghost a lot slower. There we go. If this is part of the language. No, this is just OpenGL, and then I'm making my own structures on top of that. I'm trying to make it bare bones, just to show how much the language already does for you, even when you go bare bones, right? So. Any other comments? I'm just about to wrap up. I'm excited to work on example programs and example games with you guys, for sure. Oh, you guys are going super slow. Come on, Ghost, go faster, faster, faster. Ooh, slow, fast, fast, slow. Let's see, what else do we have as questions? Oh, I didn't know you asked this before, sorry. Have you tried writing demos for other platforms like mobile or consoles? No. That would be a good idea. I mean, our backends, well, we have an LLVM backend. And an x64 backend that John Costin wrote and that Josh has worked on. How does the language handle library dependencies? What if you have a program that depends on two libs that each depend on different versions of another, but same lib? Yeah, well, there are multiple ways you can handle this. I mean, you can mount different instances of the same library. And there's some work that John has been doing with modules recently. Um, I don't think I'll have time in 5 minutes to just show how library works, but I think Blobman maybe should have one or two libraries that are not part of the modules of the language, just so I can show how that works. And then we can go back to that question, I guess. Does JAX support unions? Yes. Yep, both. Yep, you have anonymous unions and you have typical unions. Yep. I'm not showing it now. Well, you can show it. Like you have, find something. You have this direction enum, right? Up, left, down, right for Blobman. Hold on. Let's try and make this a little bigger again. I have to choose a default size on BMRC. There we go. So you can definitely say beverage, right? It's a union. Same syntax as an enum or a struct. It's just the name changes to union. And then you have whatever. So maybe that should be a string. Ugh, MRC, what's going on with you? Right, and you can only have one of these. Make it 64. Right, so that's totally possible. No, they're not discriminated. You have a lot of power at compile time. I didn't show it in this stream, but you can definitely go crazy with implementing a lot of features that the language doesn't have, which it has a lot of, just by modifying AST nodes. Like the abstract syntax tree is all yours, and you can resubmit code, regenerate code, have the compiler process again. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So somebody asked about the website release. I think I already answered that. Right? It's done-ish. It's done. I just want the team to review it. Will the website include big code examples like Blobman or the Space Invaders game? It will. I mean, I want to show you the website now, but I haven't asked John if I can preview it. So if he says yes, then I can show it next time. The website I can show you next time if they say yay. Sneak peek of the logo. We don't have a logo yet. John is not into logos or branding of any kind. Okay, it's been an hour. So that was fun. I want to keep it to an hour, no more, just because I want people to be able to watch the stream later and not feel overwhelmed. But starting next week, there you go. Starting next week, we will tackle these to-do items. We're going to make sure that Blobman no longer looks like Pac-Man. And we're going to fix all the bugs and add new features and get it ready for beta testers. So it was really nice having you guys around. So I'll see you again next Wednesday. Again, possibly again at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hang out on Twitter and on the Handmade Network Discord sometimes, or just Handmade Network in general. So I'm gonna put that in here. I really appreciate you joining. I'm not sure if those links will... Hey, Twitch finally recognized the .network top-level domain. That's awesome. Yeah, Yvonne, if you look at the beginning of this stream. I'm gonna have it archived. I have a little presentation that explains how the streams will interact, how they will go, right? So cheers. Until next week.